Well, Reddit and Discord are both facing scrutiny over age verification practices aimed at protecting kids online, with privacy concerns mounting around the current methods and calls growing for app stores to handle age checks. Instead, we turn to brand and digital strategist Fisher, who can be found on X and Threads with username @Fisher and at his website, fisher.media, for the full story on what's happening and what it means for users. Good morning, Fisher.
Good morning, Ken. How are you?
Good, sir. So why all the controversy, as they say in Great Britain, with age verification?
Yeah, and actually it relates to a story that we talked about just about a month ago. Both platforms, Reddit and Discord, like you said, face pressure from the UK's Online Safety Act, which requires age verification to protect minors from harmful material. Discord ran a limited UK test using a company called Persona. And again, we spoke about this a month ago. It's an external age verification provider that requires users to upload selfies or your government ID for age checks. Users criticize Persona for potentially accessing government records, third-party databases, and other public resources, raising serious concerns about data privacy, security risks, and identity exposure. Now, keep in mind, Europe is over the top with this, and it's not as much as it is over there here. But after intense user backlash, including accusations of misleading statements on data handling, Discord halted the Persona test. So again, about a month and a half out, they deleted all related user verification data and decided not to proceed with Persona. The company emphasized that it never received the user identities or biometric data or anything of that sort directly. The third-party vendor handled all the verification anonymously and then just passed the certification, if you will, the token that says this user is over the age of 18. Discord stated that 90% of users can be age assured. Now, we talked about this again in the story a month ago, age assured via non-invasive measures, meaning the account's been active for 10 years, you have a credit card on file, I look over the age of 18, but there is growing pressure on Apple and Google to handle age verification at the App Store level, potentially reducing burdens on individual apps like Reddit and Discord. And that leads to our next story, which I'll let you.
Yeah, so Apple. Yeah. Let's see this little dance we do. So Apple is rolling out its own new age verification system on the App Store to ensure users are at least 18 before they can download certain apps. So talk about that.
Yeah, and this is an important one, and I'm going to carve out a little piece at the end and we could discuss this. Now, Apple, again, the age verification is, again, to ensure users are at least 18 or older before downloading certain apps, complying with laws in specific United States and foreign countries. This tool supposedly blocks underage users from accessing apps rated 18 or over, and that's, again, to meet regulatory requirements protecting minors. Now, the rollout applies in Utah and Louisiana, as well as Brazil, Australia, Singapore, and coming to a UK near you. Developers will be able to use Apple's updated, it's called a Declared Age Range API. The API is a back-end way that an app and a company can talk to each other, an app and a website, and that will determine the user's age range without, again, accessing personal details like exact birth dates. Now, it builds on Apple's ongoing effort to support compliance with emerging child safety and age assurance laws globally, and emphasizing privacy-focused age signals rather than invasive data collection. And if you're dealing with security, Apple is top of the line. Everything is encrypted end to end. You verify a lot of the information on device, which means you're not passing your driver's license and personal information. That's the way Apple Pay works. The credit card information stays on a chip on your phone, and it just passes a token that says to Target or whatever the establishment is, this is the credit card, and pay that. And that's the way that this information works. Now, coming to California near you, and eventually New Jersey, and all of these things sort of have something in common, this might roll out as well. Now, where it starts to get dangerous, and we talked about this in prior stories, the need to authenticate yourself when trying to use Google or a web browser, just to prove that you're over 18 so that you can search and do things of that, or like that. Now, again, where it becomes dicey is when states and countries start requiring your device to be age restricted, meaning in order to have an iPhone, so you'd have to prove it's you, and you're over 18 by uploading a driver's license or any type of ID to verify your age to actually use your device. And then once your device is acknowledge that you're over 18, then you would be able to go about downloading apps and using websites of that sort. But it gets real, I keep saying dicey, but it gets real dicey because then that starts the ability of tracking. Like if I've uploaded, now obviously it's your phone and there's a lot to that. I already have all my credit cards and my driver's license on my phone for other reasons. But when you have to upload and verify just to use your phone, I don't know, like that begins
Yeah.
the ability
Big
of
brother.
governments to track you. Yeah. Not
Big brother.
company. I
No,
mean,
you're right.
companies
Big
are already
brother.
doing it, but yeah, but you're tying your driver's license or your passport or some other government, ID. And I'm not saying that the United States is going this route, and on the iOS basis, but
Mhm.
California can, as we talked about, Utah, Louisiana, they're requiring it for these apps. It's a slippery slope that we're about to go down if we get that far.
And all it takes, just like when they wanted to legalize marijuana, all they had to do is say first medicinal, and there was only going to be one dispensary. Then there were 50 dispensaries. Then it was recreational within a few years. And
Yeah.
now all of a sudden it's like even the non-licensed places are selling pot and nobody cracks down on them. That's the slippery slope. You start out small and you gradually creep. Before you know it, government
And
has total control again. So
yeah, and it's going to be passed
100%.
as this is going to be safety for, kids. Well, I don't have a kid, so why should I have to do this if it ever came to that? So where does that begin? Well, it's just safety for kids, and then it's just to make it easier so that you could get your
Yeah.
prescriptions online or whatever that is, and then eventually it is, oh, we knew that you went to this website.
Yeah. All right, sir. Brandon, digital strategist Fisher, who can be found on X and Threads with username @Fisher and at his website, fisher.media. Thanks for coming on today, sir.